Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's your man Ronan, back with another one. Wanted to get this one, maybe another one out before I start working again. Had a great workout today, and today is supposed to be my game, but I'll basically take one later on. But with all that aside, you already know the deal. Use the code Ronan10, and that'll be your passport into the A game lifestyle. Definitely helps with your vitality, energy, focus, and libido. With that being said, today's conversation is going to deal with a topic that often goes unmentioned, dismissed, because it's not a vanity conversation. It is something that people either tease at or it's too heavy for a lot of people. And I want to address an issue that is prevalent among men, which is often the unspoken, ugly elephant in the room among many. It's dealing with homelessness. Now, I don't need to go to the statistics. I just know every day when I'm doing my thing driving out here, and I can see a lot of guys out here. Some places here in Indianapolis, you have people who live in hotels. Some have very seedy reputations. There are places where you can stay a week. So you got guys who either hustle to do their thing, either they're truck drivers or some are convenient. But some have the misfortune of being financially displaced. And however means they got there they are. And traveling across the country, seeing about how people are living in New York, both good and bad. Same thing with LA, Houston, Chicago, and other places. We still have these groups like the working poor. It's very disturbing to me when I see places like Skid Row and certain places like LA. They have a reputation of areas like that, and I know both veterans and civilians alike who either are there, have been there, or they know people who are still there or have died there. I had a few fellow veterans that I was cool with when I was in LA, and when I was thrown out because I chose to live with somebody against my better wishes, and I had the opportunity, and I called around and I found out that they have a veteran program, like a domiciliary, where they could take in veterans. You had to do an intake situation where you have made a phone call, they did some paperwork, you go fill some stuff out, and I'm not gonna go there. But once I got there, I ran into quite a few people from different walks of life. I definitely say it was culture shock because it was my first real honest stint of being that. I didn't want to go back to here because not just my pride, I just wasn't feeling it. And two, I knew when I made the decision to come out this way and that thing happened, I had to own up to the consequences of my decisions. So with my prideful self, I was in the domiciliary. Now, where I was West LA, which basically you had access to a hospital, and they often had you go do medical checkups. You had to do all kind of things like job searches and things like that nature. And they provide you a place to stay, but you had to participate in the programs in order to be there. Some people were dealing with mental health. Some people were in certain situations specifically to where that's all they had to do, or they're trying to find them housing, which the VA would help pay for, but they had to fit a certain criteria and a waiting period for that time to get housing. I had the opportunity to do that, but me personally, I fell in love and went from having a security job, starting to really get my feet under me. But I decided to, drop all of that and start new in Houston, which is a whole nother story. Getting back on topic, This is something we need to address. And that's what I'm asking about the Black Manosphere, because we always talk about all these other things and always centered around Punani politics. And there's a bigger world, there's bigger issues, there's bigger concerns, more than just the coming and going of, whichever chick or thought is doing. It's much bigger than that. You see people that are the working poor. There's some people who have decent jobs or solid jobs, but because of the cost of living there, some people live in RVs, some people living in their cars, some people are doing what they can, probably going to a bus station or to a gym or somewhere to get their needs met as far as like hygiene and keeping up the appearance. And they're doing what they're supposed to do until they either get a roommate and help with their situation or what have you. The point of this conversation is, this is something that we need to address, because many of us have gone to places, we've seen abandoned houses that could be refurbished. As it makes no sense that a lot of the guys out here, some who might be listening to me now, are going through a situation and they could be sitting at a McDonald's trying to look for answers. And it makes no sense for us who seem to misunderstand the fact that in some sense that we're privileged more than most. We got other people who are among us who are suffering in silence, or they're the epitome of showing how disposable men, especially black men, are. A lot of us caught hell through COVID. Then you got to worry about the people with the elements. If it's too hot, you got to worry about people falling out from being overheating, people being famished, just doing what they have to do in order to survive day to day. Then you're talking about the wintertime, people basically freezing to death, things of that nature. Being, that we talk about the 10 life values. Number one, that can really, it takes a real strong individual to survive out there in most cases. Some may be deemed as crazy, singing to themselves or doing something, whatever. I make it a point to, if I do have it, extend a little courtesy to them. If it's a veteran, I sit there, if I'm talking to them, sometimes I grab an extra bit of food and hand it to them. I've done that many times. Now, granted, you have some people who do stolen valor, and there's some charlatans out there who are just panhandling, where you've seen on Don't Be a Menace, where someone's getting enough change, they sit there, hit their Mercedes-Benz alarm, threw away the clothes, and drove away. But 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. It's on us. If we're talking about being forward progressive men, we gotta look at the ones whose voice is often voiceless. And I know we're in an era, especially, that's talking about rugged individualism and talking about we need to do all these other things. But shout out to my brother Sheep and the A-Game family. That's part of the healing process. Some people are missing certain steps in order to put them in a better place. This is why we promote veterans to go to Dom, and not just to stay there, but in order to get the mental health they need, to talk about their health needs being met. They'll usually have food, child for the veterans out there. Always have programs to get veterans alike. Well, and I believe civilians, which I'll look more into and offer that information when I can. But definitely get them on point to where they can get back on track and keep tracking them. While sometimes you can, if you're service connected, you'll have a bit of shelter to take care of your dwelling. That way you can work out the other 10 life values. They'll have things with leisure to keep the spirits up for the veterans. They'll have things as far as like means of education. All the 10 life values can be addressed, but we have to instill that level of empathy and understanding, that not to basically treat ourselves as crutches for our brothers who are, displaced in those ways. But you'd be surprised what a little bit of help and assistance can do. I know from personal experience what that feels like, and I make it a point to try to give information if I can give, so be it. But the thing is, it's just more than just myself and others here at the A Game family and affiliates out here. This is a group effort. If we're really talking about brothers, and some of them have families, some guys, they've been spiritually broken. Some of them, their health's in question. Some of them, just they prided themselves on their profession, which I have an issue with this high value nonsense personally, because most times we realize in this country we're about 1 or 2 paychecks away from being out in the street, and with these eviction moratoriums being lifted, we're definitely going to see a lot more of these cases grow. So we'll be trying times for individuals, but the thing is, like, if we're talking about, and just like in the Marine Corps, about a band of brothers, we got to do what we need to do, whether it's a solid word of information, a word of motivation, or even helping a brother out that may be among us, that doesn't want to admit that they're going through a situation. Like, look, confidentiality is key. Look, bro, I got you. Look, go here, don't trip. I'll be here every step of the way. Just call me when you need me. Here's a hand. You'd be surprised what that would do. Because I have a brother now that I know. Shout out to him, and you know who he is. Like, we've been cool ever since 2009 to this day. We call and do wellness checks with each other. And definitely I'm going to have some of my A-Game family meet him in person, because he's been looking for me to come out that way and see what's up to him. So I want to do this video to speak on an issue that often goes neglected, mainly by choice, because it's not algorithm friendly. But this is real time stuff. Some of us that are among us, you have been shamed into silence, and this is something that not only needs to be addressed, but that needs to stop. I'm not saying us being international and everything that's going to help overnight, but if you know somebody, or even just if the mood hits you and you're able to do it, do what you can as a brother. Because as a representative of the A-Game family, I have no shame about saying I am my brother's keeper. I know I can't save everybody, but I'm going to do what I can to be aid of somebody, because I already know if it's in me to do it, so be it. But again, that goes into part of the spiritual aspect. So you know what it is when your intuition is telling you something. So in closing, I want to say shout out to my civilian and veteran brothers out there. This is a spiritual war, and we're going to keep up the good fight. I want to say much love to you guys. Much love to my A-Game family, A-Game Nation. Salute to the people out there who are really doing the damn thing, because we're all being tested here. And I definitely am confident that we could start building the groundwork in order to convert these ethnic outposts that we see out here today into actual communities. But it all starts by extending a hand to the brothers who are falling or are down for the standing 8 count. Build our numbers up, and then go from there. So we need to show by example that we as men, especially black men, are not disposable. We're not mules of convenience. Those days are done. We're going to find our brothers and find ourselves and reclaim black male agency and stand by it. So with that being said, never allow your comfort zone become your coffin. Salute to y'all, and hope you had a good weekend. I was just working. That was popping. So I'll let you guys later. Peace.